Guess I'm not the lucky type.
You're welcome to the Cruising is Life podcast. Whether you're a cruiser or just starting out, we have something for everyone. So sit back, relax, and get ready to set sail with us on the Cruising is Life podcast.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Cruising is Life podcast. Back for a bonus podcast this week. Justin here was on the Norwegian Epic all week. Just got off this morning. Yes. How you feeling?
I'm very tired. I woke up at 4:45 this morning.
Oh God. Oh yeah, the debarkation days. How we do it, at least. You know, get up, butt crack of dawn. Well, you usually do. You're usually the one dragging me out of bed those mornings. But,
exactly.
But yeah, I know the struggle. It's early day. But yeah, I guess like just quick thoughts before we like really dive right into all of it. Like, how was it?
The cruise was great. Just generalized, it was great. The ship was amazing. The food was great. I'm a very picky eater, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. The ports were amazing. The ship was moving around a lot during the sea days, so it was very nice and relaxing when I was trying to go to bed. But yeah, no, overall, we had our issues that we're going to get into, but I had fun. Looking past all that stuff, I did have fun.
That's awesome. That's good. And like for you, Epic was like one of those ships that like got you into cruising, or like kind of when you were first starting, Epic was one of those big ships for you. So it was like one that you always wanted to go on. So like how was it like in that sense, like finally getting to do that?
The first day or so kind of felt unreal. Just like the fact that I was standing on the ship that I've wanted to go on for almost 14 years at this point.
Yeah.
But it was really cool. I'm really glad I got to do this ship. Once I saw that they switched her itinerary to sail out of Port Canaveral this year, I knew I had to go.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because I don't remember where she was supposed to go, but she was supposed to be somewhere else this year. But yeah, it's awesome that we're getting her, because we're getting her later this year too. Which I don't know if you saw it, but I guess not really relevant to like the review part of it all. But they're bringing her back to Canaveral this year. Of course, like later on this year, they're bringing her back a month early now. Like they canceled her last like month of her European season to bring her back to start in October this year instead.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I'll take it ship spotting wise, but
we're getting some really, really good ships this year, so that'll be really cool.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
So yeah, I guess like the ship, like how, like you said, it's like a 14-year-old ship. Like age wise, is it showing its age? Is it still feel new?
So there were certain, honestly, this is going to be overstated too, but like there were certain areas where I was like, where you can kind of tell that the ship was a lot older. But other than that, it was in pretty good condition. I was very surprised. I was, not that I was going into it expecting it to be like old and run down, but there was times where I was walking around, I was like, wow, this ship is 14 years old and it like looks like this. So they've done a good job keeping up with it.
Yeah, for sure. Like going into, you hear a 14-year-old ship, you kind of have like, you have an expectation, like, maybe not it's going to be run down or dated or anything like that, but you kind of go into an expectation of like, okay, it's not going to be brand new. It's not going to be very polished feeling. It's not Icon of the Seas. It's not Carnival, Celebration, or Jubilee. Like it's a 14-year-old ship. It's going to it'll probably show its age in places.
Yeah, definitely. And it does, but for the most part, it's in pretty good condition.
That's awesome. That's cool. What was your favorite part around the ship, or like about the ship?
That's a good question. The water park is really cool. It's got like two basic like twisty slide. Well, one of them's like a twisty slide, and the other one kind of just makes like a left turn and then goes straight down the side and comes back in. But they've got that bowl slide on board, but you sit in a raft on it, unlike some of those Carnival ships where you just like it's like a body slide. So once you get out of it, you like go flying around the inside before you like drop down into the bottom part of it. Really? But yeah, so the water park was great. They've got a bridge viewing room on board. So, I did the behind the scenes tour, but they do have like a bridge viewing room. So you can go in and see what's going on the bridge during sea days and stuff like that. So that was really cool. And then right in the middle of the ship, and you'll know what I'm talking about, but it's actually different on the Epic than it is on like the Breakaway an up class of ship. Right in the middle, they've got that big chandelier. Like each ship.
Yeah, it's a
So
dining room.
yeah, so on Epic, below it, it's a dining room. But on some of the other ships, it's like a walkthrough area. At least on the
Yeah.
Escape, from what I remember, it's like a
Yeah.
walkthrough area.
Yeah, that's like that on the Breakaway and Breakaway Plus. It's a so it's a walkthrough at the bottom. There's usually like a shop or something. I know there was like a chocolate shop or something like that in the comedy club on the Bliss, but like deck 7 was like the casino, and then deck 8 was all the shopping.
Right. So on Epic, that level with the restaurant is 5, but in between where that restaurant is, so on the Epic, it's the Taste restaurant, and then at the back of the ship, up one floor, I think that's right. Yeah, up one floor is the Manhattan dining room, which is the other like complimentary restaurant.
Okay.
In between there is the kitchen. So when you walk into Taste, there's a wall there, so you can't. It's not like it's literally just the restaurant there. So like on Escape and Getaway and stuff, you can walk through there. It's kind of like a secondary lobby, kind of. But on Epic, it just ends at that restaurant there. But it's cool because it's got that big chandelier. Then up on 6 is the casino, and there's a couple other things. And then up on 7, there was some shops, and honestly, I can't even remember anymore. But like 5, 6, and 7 was like that area with the chandelier.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've always noticed it, like at least on the bottom. It's just the bottom level that's the dining room.
Yeah, and
That's
then
really
but like you
weird.
can, so it's open on the 2 decks above it, but yeah,
Okay.
it's just that dining room on that first floor.
So you just have like people above you, like the decks above you, just kind of like looking down, watching you eat.
Yes, it's very weird. So we ate there for the first time leaving Puerto Rico, and we were up against the window, so we weren't like right in the middle. But we ate there. Was it last night? Yeah, we ate there last night, and we were like right in the middle. So like I was like
that's
looking up,
cool.
and like people were like looking at us. I'm like, dude, I'm trying to eat my French onion soup here. Leave
Wow,
me
you,
alone.
Mr. Picky Eater, eating French onion soup.
Okay, so now you sound like my boss. Yes. He goes, how do you go from eating chicken fingers and mac and cheese to eating French onion soup? I said, I have no idea.
It just be like that sometimes, I guess.
It really do. It's so good too.
I guess on the topic of food, how was the food overall? Like, was it good food, bad, eh?
Food was pretty good, even in the buffet.
Really?
They had like a full-time pizza stand. So I mean, I love pizza, so they had that. The chicken fingers were almost identical to what they have in Playmakers.
Okay.
I mean, they're a little different, but like that's like basically what they were. They had the ice cream stands, and each night they had like a different theme of like dinner in the I keep wanting to say Windjammer, in the Garden Cafe. So like one night was like an Italian night, one night was like a Mexican night.
That's
so
awesome.
they had a lot of different options, but the food was great. I mean, even in the dining rooms, we ate at O'Sheehan's. We didn't do the teppanyaki, unfortunately. I really wanted to. We just didn't get a chance, but we ate at there's like a Chinese restaurant, but it's like a noodle bar also. I particularly didn't like it, but I'm very picky. But
Yeah.
Rachel liked it, and she had like a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, I mean, the food was great. I was surprised.
Nice, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't go to teppanyaki.
Yeah, me too.
I think you're echoing a little bit. You
boy.
might need to grab like some headphones or something.
The problem is I don't know where my AirPods are. Come walk with me. I'll see if I can find something.
Taking a little tour of Justin's apartment right now.
You don't want to see. Here, I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys a cool. I still have my Christmas tree up.
I was about to say, bro, is your Christmas tree up still?
Here's a cool section of my apartment.
That's all. That's awesome. All the ship models.
Yeah.
For those who are able to or aren't, I guess, watching this, or if you're listening to through the podcasting platforms, like we're looking at his ship models here for a second. But yeah, so I guess while you're doing that, it's funny. For those who don't know, Justin's like a fiend for hibachi and like teppanyaki and all that stuff. Like,
good.
I swear he will go to like Disney and go to like the Japan pavilion at Disney at Epcot to to have.
We'll go there just for that.
We'll go there just for that, for sure.
Am I still echoing?
Not anymore. No,
All right. Well,
it's just very random. Oh, okay, you're good.
We'll just have to go with it. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. But yeah, Justin's a fiend for some hibachi. I don't
So
blame you.
good.
It's great. I love it.
Ah.
Good stuff.
And the best part, I know it's completely off topic, but at Epcot, they don't give you fried rice, which is like some of the best stuff
It's
there.
the white rice.
Or like in hibachi, but they give you white rice.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just put like teriyaki sauce on it, it like makes it really good. But they'll keep bringing out white rice, like if you just ask for it. So the first time we went there, I was like, oh, this was so good. And the guy was like, oh, like, do you want another one? I'm like, yeah, sure. By the end of the night, I had like 8 empty white rice bowls in front of me.
Bro, what? Is that all you go
It
there
was so
for?
good. What?
Is that all you go there for? Is the white rice?
I eat like the chicken and the noodles and stuff, but like I can't stop when it's just like the white rice and the
Yeah, that's
teriyaki.
fair.
I can't stop. Look at my cheeks. This is why. It goes right into my cheeks.
Oh my god, that's awesome. But yeah, transitioning back. What was your itinerary on the ship?
So we were in Port Canaveral, then we were in Great Stirrup Cay, then we had a sea day, then it was San Juan, Puerto Rico, St. Thomas, Dominican Republic, and then a sea day back to Canaveral today.
Wow, that's pretty packed.
Yes. It was a very, very busy week.
Nice. Yeah, you didn't go to Great Stirrup Key though, did you?
Correct. I woke up early, which again, no problem. I do it all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Wonder and Odyssey were going to Coco Cay that same day, and the 2 islands are right next to each other.
Mhm.
So Wonder was in the process of backing up, and the weather wasn't bad. The swells were a little bit high,
Yeah.
so that's why we didn't go. But Wonder was in the process of backing up into the pier and almost hit the pier, and literally turned 90 degrees sideways.
Oh my
and
God.
full throttled it away from the pier. So when I saw that, like we were still approaching Great Stirrup Cay. So when I saw that, I said, "Oh boy, that's not going to be good," because Odyssey had already spun and was getting ready to back up, but then she had to sit there because Wonder was trying to get out of the way. So we sailed by them, and all of a sudden, like the PA system chime went off, and I literally turned the camera on. And I'm like, "Yeah, we're not going to Great Stirrup Cay today."
Aw, that sucks.
So we did a little sail by. I mean, it was fine. I got to see
Yeah.
Wonder and Odyssey, but yeah, we basically
Yeah.
did a sail by.
That's crazy. Yeah, we've said this 100 times on previous podcasts, but that's like the biggest thing with Great Stirrup Key compared to Coco. Like Wonder and Odyssey got to stay there that day, but
Yes.
you got yourself a day at sea.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is fine because we got to explore the ship, but
Yeah.
Rachel was a little disappointed because she wanted to go there. What are you going to do?
Right. I mean, there's not a whole lot going on at Great Stirrup Key either.
Right. Exactly.
It's definitely not anywhere near Coco Cay.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah. But plus it's being like the first night or the first like day of the cruise too. You get more of a chance to like explore the ship and like see the ship before you really, get used to it, everything.
Right. And it was nice because I was up early to see us get in. So once they, officially, abandoned the port of call, the ship was basically empty because everyone was still sleeping. It really gave me a chance to look around and, see everything.
Nice. That's awesome. That's cool. Let's see. As far as like the ship spotting part of it, how we always like to find a good spot on the ship. I know there's not really a whole lot of outdoor areas on that ship. How was that aspect of
Right.
it?
It was better than I thought it was going to be. So going
Nice.
into it, I knew there was going to be some issues with it because Norwegian tends to have really high railings.
Right.
But up on the pool deck, so the pool was on 15, so up on 16, they've got like that, little sun deck that kind of wraps around. They put lounge chairs out there.
Right.
That railing was lower, not like
Oh.
low, but it was probably up to here, and I'm like 6 foot, so it was probably like up to here.
Yeah.
So I did most of my ship spotting from there. There were some areas that had better spots for ship spotting, but the railings were too high. So yeah, I basically did all mine like from the pool deck area. But it was fine. I mean, it did the job.
Yeah. That's always one thing I've noticed about the Epic is like there's no like outdoor areas down below or anywhere. You just get the
Right.
pool deck and there's nothing else. It's like a flat wall.
Yeah. And it's
That's-
noticeable too. Like when you're on the ship, it's very
Really?
noticeable.
Really. I know my grandparents had sailed on her several years ago, but one of their biggest things was like there's no outdoor light or just places to look outside unless you're up top.
And it's true. It's very true. There was 3 or 4 windows where the lobby was, like the main lobby.
Oh,
Then
wow.
there was a handful through the casino, but they keep the curtains closed most of the time. So it's
Really?
like it's very, not that it's dark, but you just, like you said, like you just can't see the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that would get pretty dark too. And that's like one of the things that people have said, about like Oasis class is that there's not really a lot of places to see outside on the Oasis class compared to, other ships. Like one of the best things about the Freedom class is the low railings, and there's that deck down on deck 4, the overhang out on deck 4. Like there's so many good vantage points on that class of ship.
Right.
And
and a lot of the older ships seem to be like that.
Yeah, exactly. And like comparing to Wonder, there's not a whole lot of places downstairs, down below. And then you get up to the top and there's all the really high glass. So that was the only thing. Wonder is probably the best ship I've been on, and probably my favorite ship so far. Of course, because I've got 2 weeks until Icon. We'll see how that's going to play out.
Of course.
But
Right.
they that was like the one thing I didn't like about the Wonder is there's just the high glass all over the place. There's just no places for me to actually like see or film or take pictures or anything like that off the ship.
Right. Yeah, and Epic is a good example of that.
Yeah, for sure. I've noticed, I don't know if you've seen too much of Icon yet, but I've noticed, so like in Central Park, there's just no windows, nothing like that on the Oasis class. So on the Icon, that big square where the portal is and all that. So
Right.
there's a spot in Central Park that's a glass wall, and you can see into that part. Like, so you can see into the promenade, but then you can see out through that.
That's
like,
awesome.
I think Royal Caribbean knew what they were, they kind of learned from that. Like, all right, people don't like that they can't see outside all the time. So
Right.
here's an outdoor area and also just outdoor windows on the promenade and Central Park, which is probably the last place I ever thought we would get a window, is Central Park.
For real.
So that was one thing I've noticed that's pretty cool about Icon. I'm very excited for that, or like to see how that
Yeah.
actually is. And they've got like
Definitely.
chairs and stuff like that laid out. So let's see what else we got. So your other ports of calls. So you went to San Juan. What'd you do there?
I mean, for the most part, all the ports we just kind of walked around, but
Yeah.
Rachel likes to shop at Marshall's. She also works at Marshall's. So we found the Marshall's.
Oh my god.
So you have to put it into perspective, though. It rained the whole day.
Yeah.
It literally rained the whole day. It maybe stopped raining for about 2 hours, and that's like right when we were off the
Wow.
ship. But yeah, it rained, and the captain said it was going to be a sunny day, and I didn't see the sun once. So I don't know what happened there, but we got off the ship. We walked over, like if you're looking, like if the ships are pulled in, it was like off to like towards the fort, kind of like in that area. So we walked there. We did shopping in there, and then we walked in and out of a couple side stores down the streets and stuff. And then we went to there's a CVS and a Walgreens, but one of them was like right across from where our ship was. So we were just looking in there. Can't remember if we were looking for something specific or if we were just like looking around maybe for like a magnet or some, some stupid souvenir. But once we got in there, it started pouring. And the ship was right across the street, but it was downpouring. So you'll see, like, once I get like the videos out, I'm literally walking, the camera's shaking, and it's just pouring out. And we're like running back to the ship.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Sucks.
So I mean, not that we would have done too much more, but the
Yeah.
rain definitely didn't help with like, wandering further.
Yeah, I get that. And honestly, that's kind of like what we do when we go too, is just like we
Right.
don't really do a whole lot. We just take pictures and all that.
Right.
I kind of figured that's what we're going to end up doing on the Venezia next year too.
Yeah.
We probably just walk
100%.
around because we got some sort of like weird hours. So I was like, oh, we should like go up to the fort and take pictures of the ships leaving there or like coming in or
Right.
something. I don't remember exactly what our times are off the top of my head, but yeah.
We'll do something like that.
We'll do something. And San Juan, there's, again, not a whole lot of stuff to do there in the first place. I think the last time I went there, we went to the beach, which was like the 2016 on the Vista. We just like a beach day, which
Gotcha.
the Sunshine actually was in port with us that day, but they were pulling in, and we could actually, because they came in really late, we actually were able to see them off the horizon. as they were coming
Nice.
in. So like I just see like this little like box, at the top of the sunshine. I see it like right on the horizon.
Right.
Like, what is that? And then I see the little funnel. I'm like, oh, it's the sunshine.
Oh,
Oh, it's just so funny seeing it coming over like the horizon like that. You just see the little box at the top of it first.
yeah, for real.
It has such a distinct look to it too. You're like, oh, yep, sunshine.
Yeah, like exactly how you described it. You can see it like from miles away.
Yeah, like even the sunrise and the radiance are nowhere close to it.
Nope, not even close.
Yeah. And then you said St. Thomas. What'd you do in St. Thomas?
Yep. So St. Thomas, it was a busy day. The carnival celebration, Magic, and the Norwegian Getaway were also there. So they got
Nice.
lucky and they got to dock at the Haven site pier, which is like the main pier there. And we got stuck over in Crown Bay. So the problem was we were there from like 6 a.m. till 2 p.m. But they didn't even clear the ship until like 7:30. So it's not even like we got in at 6 and could get off at like 6:30. Like it took them an hour and a half just to clear the ship. So, I mean, I was up early already watching the ships come in, and I made sure to get Rachel up early. So we got off at like 8 something, 9 something. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
But we got off early and we took a cab over straight to the Haven site area because I wanted to go to Paradise Point, which is like that cable car that takes you up to the mountain. And the line was super long for that because there was 4 ships there, and apparently everyone wants to go up there.
Yeah.
So of course, it makes sense. But we did that first, and we went up. We spent about 30 minutes up there, maybe not even. I got shots of the ship's dock there, and we did a little bit of shopping. Then we took the cable car back down, and did some shopping in that port area. By the carnival ships, and then it started to rain again, so it was pouring for like 30 minutes while it rained like the whole cruise.
That's crazy.
And I was getting a little nervous because we left early from there, so I'm like, first of all, I don't even know where the cabs are, and it's raining, and the ship's leaving soon. So we did some shopping around there, and we were gonna meet up with Robbie, but he didn't get off the ship until like 1:30, and we were leaving at 2.
Yeah.
So we took the cab back and did very little shopping over like in the Crown Bay. There's a couple shops there. And then we just got on the ship and left very early.
Yeah. When I did Wonder back in April of last year, that was like my first time in Crown Bay, and there's just like nothing really over there.
Yeah. There's like a handful of shops and then nothing. So
yeah,
Haven site is the place to be.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Royal Caribbean primarily, or I think they only use Crown Bay, but like if you're going on the other cruise lines, like if you're over and like you said, the Haven site, then you're going to be in a good area. There's a lot more. There's a lot more shopping, and there's a lot more to do. Plus, you get to the cable cars.
Right, exactly. And it's right. It's all right there. So like, you can literally be doing stuff up until like sail away.
Right, exactly. I
don't recommend that, but you can.
Yeah, for real.
I'm just
It'd be those pier runners that we're always heckling when we get back on the ship.
Exactly. I'm gonna continue to heckle too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I did the cable cars one time, and that was in 2016. Ironically, Robbie was also there. I didn't know, and I didn't know Robbie back then. The funny story about that is, so I have a picture of it was the Breakaway, the Escape, and the Carnival Magic. I was on the Magic, and I have the picture of us going up on the cable car and of the 3 ships lined up, and probably maybe about a year or 2 after we had met Robbie, I like posted the thing. It was like, oh, flashback to this memory, X amount of years ago. And then he like pinged, I don't know if it was in our group chat with you or if it was like he had DM'd me or something, but he goes, was this July 2nd of 2016? And I go, yeah. He goes, I was on the Breakaway that day. I go, no way. Of course he was, but like,
right.
It's just like funny. Like years later, he goes, was that this day? Because I was here that day too.
Right.
It's like not the first time we've like run into him like that many times.
Real.
And it's funny because you've run into him like in the ports before too. I think the Adventure maybe.
Yes, we were on Adventure and he was on the Escape. We actually met up in Costa Maya. It was just our two ships there, and then he was in Cozumel with us. But he docked at the Carnival Pier.
Oh, weird.
I think it was because of the MSC ship that was over in the International Pier or whatever, the downtown pier. So Rachel and I went over to that, like where the MSC ship was. So I was assuming he was going to be over there and we would meet up again, but he ended up going to the Carnival Pier, so we didn't. But he was there. He was, and then you were 2 of your cruises. He was over in Great Stirrup Cay, right? When you were on Royal.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, the last 2 times, that's happened to me multiple times, but each time, at least on the ship itself, like, he's always been at Great Stirrup Cay when I'm at Coco, to where, like, we don't actually get to meet up.
And then we ship spotted with him that one time when he came in on Getaway in Canaveral, right? Getaway, was it?
Yeah, I think it was Getaway. It was like Labor Day or something like that. And we were off of work for Monday, and it came in. Yeah, it's always fun. Good stuff.
Yes, absolutely.
That guy's always on a cruise, I swear.
It must be nice.
I know. We gotta convince him to go on another cruise with us, or a cruise at some point with us.
Hey, he loves Norwegian. We're going on Joy.
So, but yeah. So after that, you said was it Amber Cove or Porta Plata that you guys went to?
It was Amber Cove.
Ooh, how was that?
It was very nice there.
Really?
When you hear you're going to the Dominican Republic, it's like, oh, I'm like, okay, but it was a very nice port area, and I'm pretty sure the cruise lines kind of built it up, right?
Carnival, yeah. That's a Carnival. Okay, that's a Carnival pier, yeah. I think Norwegian just stopped going there after the escape incident.
Gotcha. But I mean, it was a great port. They got a whole bunch of shops, like right when you come off the pier. They have a big letter, like it says Amber Cove. You can take your picture, and the ship's in the background. Then they had like a little, I don't even know what you would call it. It was like a little walk-through path with like a waterfall and some like fish like going through the like underneath the path. But there was a big, like, lizard, like fossilized skeleton in this big thing of amber, and I'm like, this looks like Jurassic Park in here. And then literally right next to it, there's a whole board talking about like the movie.
Oh, really?
One of the scenes. So this is where I get conflicted because I've heard it wasn't filmed there, and I heard it was filmed there, so I'm not sure. But not the opening scene, but like the very next scene in the first movie, where the lawyer goes to the amber mine. It's like a very quick scene, and they show like the mosquito in the amber. That was like the Dominican Republic, like in the movie. So they had like a whole board about it. And I love Jurassic Park. So like this, I was like, oh my God. But the board says that scene was filmed there, but I've heard otherwise, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, so they had that. Then so like this is like up against like a mountainside. So on top, it's not a very big mountain, but like on top of it, they had this lookout area with a bar on it, and it just looks out like over the port area, which was like very nice. So we walked up there for a little bit, and then we found, so then from up there, they have a zip line that you just like pay like when you go there, and it's like just like a couple bucks. And you can just like go all day.
Oh, really?
And it goes like over the pool down to like the pool area. And then they also had like 2 water slides, and it's like the same thing. Like you just pay like a couple bucks and you can just go all day. But I didn't know about that. So I wasn't like expecting to go do that.
Right.
So they had that, and then you go down, they have not like a giant pool, but they had like a big pool area, a snack shack, and then they had like a full restaurant that we sat down and had lunch at. And then there was like where the ship docks, it's like kind of like a little bay area.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a U shape. So like the ship backs in, and then there's like behind it, there's like a whole like little harbor.
Yeah.
And you can rent like water, like paddle boats or kayaks, like all that kind of stuff.
Really?
So honestly, that might be one of my favorite, I guess, like international ports. Cause like I love St. Thomas and San Juan, but I think it has to do because they're like a U.S. territory. So it's, but being an international port, it's got to be one of my favorites. I really enjoyed myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. I went to Amber Cove. It was like it had just opened up. I think all that was really there was just like the zip line. So I don't think I haven't been there in forever, so I don't really have a whole lot of like memory of really what it was like. But I remember Amber Cove being really nice when I went there. It was mostly just shopping.
Right, and I mean that's still what it is, but it was just like nice. Like it was just nice being there. Like in that lookout area, like if you look out one direction, like you can see the ship and stuff. But if you look out behind it, there's like a big open field, and then it just shoots up like into these huge mountains. Like
Oh,
it,
wow.
it looked incredible. It was a very nice,
Yeah.
relaxing port to be in.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm wondering if, I guess, speaking of the Joy cruise, I wonder, because we're supposed to go to Puerto Plata, I wonder if we go to Amber Cove or if we go to Puerto Plata, because I know
So
they're next to each other.
right, yeah. We actually I mean, we were off the coast, but we passed Puerto Plata as we were
Right.
going to Amber Cove. But I think on our itinerary, both of them were listed, so I really didn't know where we were going
Yeah.
until I think the night before we got like the daily like freestyle daily paper, and it like
Yeah.
said Amber Cove on it. But both of them were listed like when we booked the cruise, so I wasn't sure.
Interesting. I'll have to go back and look at it then on the other
Yeah, for
itinerary.
real.
Not that we have a long time to
Like
figure that
2
out,
years.
but yeah. I think, what is it, 2 years to the day or something like that till we go on that one,
Just
but
about.
that's crazy.
It's also a year to the date we're going on the Venezia.
You're right. Oh, I'm excited for that one. That's gonna be a fun
Yeah, me
cruise.
too.
Yeah, that's got a sick lineup. We're gonna be like we're basically following the celebration all week on the Venezia.
I'll take it.
It's gonna be awesome. I think like everything has got like 2 or 3 ships in there with us, other than Grand Turk, and I think there's
Right.
I think there's like a Holland America ship there with us.
And I think the Freedom is there too.
I think you're right. I think
I
there was
think
a
there's
third
3
ship.
ships listed, but I don't know. how that's gonna
One of them's gonna get kicked. I'm sure it'll be the Holland America ship
It'll
if that's the
probably
case.
right.
Yeah. And then so you did Amber Cove was that was the last one? That was the last
Yep,
protocol?
that was the last one. We had a sea day, and sea day back to Port Canaveral.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That-
it was
I-
great.
I guess I was gonna ask which one was your favorite out of all of them, but it sounds like it's gonna be Amber Cove.
Right. Besides, like St. Thomas, like because I just love those ports with all the ships there.
Mhm.
Speaking like actual like port itself, like Amber Cove was great. I would book a cruise specifically if it was going there.
Nice. Yeah, I know. I guess if we ever do Carnival, or I guess we are going to do Carnival soon, but Carnival is like the one that primarily uses Amber Cove, and I think
Right.
it's still technically their area. I know Norwegian's just been using it a lot more lately because of the whole Norwegian escape incident back. I guess that was 2 years ago. The escape, like I was on Mardi Gras, I think. So, oh my
think
god,
it
that was 2
was.
years ago.
But, Robbie went there the day after me, but went to Puerto Plata on the getaway. So like
Really?
I don't know where they like come up with that.
I wonder if it's the bigger ships.
Maybe.
I don't know. That's super super weird. But
Yeah, it was very weird.
I mean, Norwegian likes to do weird stuff though, but it's all right.
Oh, I know. Yeah, whatever.
For real. So I guess you had you at the beginning you kind of mentioned like some things to say about the ship. Like what are I know we've talked about a lot of good things, and it sounds like you had a really good time. But like what are the little nitpicks? I guess.
Okay, so if you want to just give me a couple minutes here, I will just go into all of it. Let me start by prefacing. I'm not a hater. I am not a hater. This
Right.
was my 6th Norwegian cruise. I did the Dawn, the Jewel, the Pearl, the Getaway, and the Escape before I went on this cruise. And I loved every single one of those cruises. I never had an issue.
Mhm.
But for some reason, the issues with this cruise started pretty much right off the bat. First of all, and this isn't really a complaint, like I kind of expected this. It took us a while to get on board because the way they take the people off the last cruise is like delayed. Like we could have gotten a departure ticket for like 10 a.m. this morning. Like most like Royal Caribbean ships
Wow.
might be like even boarding by like 10 a.m.
Yeah, you can check in
So-
at 10:30.
Right. So we didn't get on the ship until noon, which again, it's really not a big deal. I kind of
Yeah.
expected it because Norwegian kind of does like the old style boarding system.
Mhm.
But then our rooms weren't ready until 3 p.m., which kind of sucks
Oh
because
my
we're
God.
schlepping around all this stuff.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things. Then I spent almost $500 on internet for two, like the top of the line internet for 2 devices. So me and Rachel can use it in the room or, if I need to check work emails or whatever. Anywhere on the ship, it was great. I had no problems with it. Certain text messages wouldn't come through, but I think that was because some people don't have iPhones in our group chats. So
Tyler.
So literally, like, I turned airplane mode off this morning, and I had like 100 texts come in that I didn't see. So if you saw me like texting in the group chat and you were like, "Oh, what is he talking about?" Like it's not like relevant to what we're talking about right now. That's why, because I was only seeing certain messages.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, but again, it wasn't a big deal, but the internet did not work in our room. And when I say did not work, I don't mean like it was really slow. It literally just disconnected. Like it's like we didn't have internet.
Wow.
And that's like the one spot we really wanted to use it, like at night, like if we were done for the night, like watch something on Netflix or something on YouTube or like, you know, whatever. Even if we just wanted to like scroll through Instagram, like we couldn't do it. And I know like you're thinking, oh, you're on a cruise, like you don't really need to be doing that. You're probably right, but that's just like what we like to do. Like that's just, you know, that's our.
It's a generational thing, but I mean, yeah, I mean, how are you supposed to? I mean, I bring my Nintendo Switch on board and stuff like that, but like. You know, I mean, that's a normal thing now for most people is, you know, people just wind down at the end of the day scrolling through Instagram or TikTok.
Right. So, and it was like,
especially as a content creator.
Exactly. And we would literally have to go like up top, like up on the deck to like use it. So like, I guess again, like that's really not like it was fine, but like, I don't want to be watching Netflix like on the pool deck. Like I want to be in my room, like just relaxing.
Yeah.
So that was
I don't
like
want
one of the
people
main
watching
issues.
me or see me watching anime on the top deck or anything like that.
Right. Exactly. Thank you. So I basically fought with them all week trying to like get it resolved. I'm like, look, I'm not trying to be like a scumbag or anything, but like I'm not paying $500 for something I can't use like the one time I really want to use it. And they kept telling me all week, oh, we reset the modem or whatever. Like, is it working now? I'm like, dude, it's not working.
They didn't.
And they're like,
reset
oh,
the
our
modem.
system shows it's working at 100%. I'm like, well, it's not working 100% in our room. So like, I don't know what like what the problem is here. But then like literally the last night of the cruise, they're like, oh, we can offer you a 10% discount. I'm like, 10%, like, bro, it didn't work. Like it wasn't working, and I paid for like this premium internet that you guys were offering.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. That one really grinded my gears pretty much all week. The second thing was we had an interior room, you know, because Norwegian's expensive as it is.
Yeah.
But there was nothing wrong with it, but the AC in the room didn't work. It was boiling hot the first 4 or 5 days of the cruise. And once they finally fixed it, it was slightly less boiling hot. Like it was never, they were like, oh, it only really goes to room temperature. I'm like, this ain't room temperature. So I was dealing with that all week too, and they didn't do anything about it. So like the first few nights, like we were sweating. Like I'm like a big guy. Like I don't just, I like to keep the fan on and keep it cold when I'm sleeping. And I was very uncomfortable. So they didn't do anything about that. Then the third thing, the crew members, I mean, we met 1 or 2 very nice crew members, like in one of the dining rooms and somewhere else. But other than that, they were kind of nasty.
Really?
They like cut you off when you're walking. They don't like I was walking, I don't know where it was. I was walking between like 2 tables, maybe in the buffet or something. And I'm like already halfway through this little stretch. And the way this waiter had a whole like tray of like glasses and stuff and just like walked into my area and like would not get out of my way. I'm like, dude, I can't go anywhere. Why would you like start walking towards me? And they don't even like say, excuse me, or I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like they bump into you, whatever. We went to the dining room the first night and the guy was like, it took him 30 minutes to come talk to us first. And then he comes up to me, he's like, what do you guys want to order? I'm like, oh my God, excuse me.
Wow.
So I just felt like the service, that was really the big thing. The service was not even like subpar. It was pretty awful.
Wow.
I've been on like I said, I preface this with like I've been on 5 Norwegian cruises before this and countless other cruise with other cruise lines, and this has probably got to be one of the worst customer service experiences we've had.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's surprising coming from Norwegian.
Right.
Norwegian's usually like high and mighty when it comes to their service, customer service, you know, crew especially, and you know, like that's something big that Norwegian always flaunts. We're like one of the best service providers, or you know, one of the best customer service crews at sea and things like that. So it's surprising to hear from them.
Right. And I don't know if it was just this particular ship or this particular group of crew members, but it was pretty bad. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not expecting everything to be perfect. Like, I get it. These ships are so big these days and there's so many things going
It's
on, but
old.
like, right, it just could have been a lot better, and it wasn't. And I just feel like for the price that we pay, like that we paid for this cruise, and like the prices that they charge,
Yeah.
like it could have been a lot better. And
Yeah.
and there was, I think there's more things that like went on that like really added up to this. I just can't think of it right now. But yeah, that kind of ruined. Not that it ruined the whole cruise because we really did have fun, but like there was like points where like I'm sitting on the ship, I'm like, do I really have to like put up with this? Like I paid so much money to be here, and I'm like, they act like we're not even here. Like they don't
Right.
even care. Oh, and then
Right.
here's the other thing. Last night, I had a problem with my card. They screwed up all my credit cards. All my credit cards are like frozen now because
Oh,
they like
God.
screwed. Oh, it's so bad, Brandon. It's so bad. So I have to like call all the banks and stuff tomorrow. But we're in the dining room, and Rachel wanted a Coke, so I give the guy my card, and he comes back. He goes, "Oh, your card's not working." I go, "Bro, it's been working all week. Why is it not working the last night?" So he goes, "You got to go to guest services." I'm like, "I'm not going to guest services right now. I'm trying to eat." So I'm sitting in my room, and I go, "I think I'm gonna have a problem getting off the ship tomorrow." I go, "I need to go talk to guest services." So I go to guest services, and the line is like super long, which is like you expected on the last day.
night. Yeah.
Right. People are trying to, close accounts and get money back or whatever it is.
Right.
So I wait in the line, no problem. And I get up there, I said, "Hey, I need you to like look at my account, like my card's not working, blah, blah, blah." So they look at it, and there was like because they like they canceled my card, like the banks like blocked it. So my like one of the last charges on my account like got like charged, like it was like over something, whatever it was. So I owed them like $10 or $15, like not a big deal, and I had cash on me. So they're like, "Oh yeah, like you just have to go to this line over here where it was like you can put money on your account and they'll take care of it." So I said, "Okay, like no problem. Like I just want to make sure I don't have a problem getting off the ship tomorrow." So I get out of this line. I already waited in the line like 30 minutes, right? So I get out of the line and I go to this other line, and I'm waiting there like 10 minutes already. And this crew member comes up to me and he goes, "Oh, this line is closed." I go, "No, it's not. They sent me over here." He goes, "It's closed." I'm like, "You're not listening to me. I was just in this line. They told me to come over here." And he goes, "This line is closed." I'm like, "I understand that, but like they sent me over here."
Yeah.
He goes, this line closes at 9. I go, "Dude, it's 8:30. Why is it closed now?"
Yeah.
So the guy made me go back to the other line. So like it's gonna sound kind of scummy, but right when he finished saying that, someone left the other like line, not the line, but like they were up at the counter. So I just cut in front of everyone. I'm like, I'm not waiting in this line again.
Yeah.
Like it felt very unorganized, and we heard this from a few other people
Really?
On the ship. Like we ran into a couple when we were up at Paradise Point, and like we were just talking, and he was like, "Oh, we're on the Epic." I'm like, "Oh yeah, us too," and he had a lot to complain about too. So
Really?
it wasn't just us, but it just
Yeah.
felt like every crew member had a different
They got beef.
mindset of like what was going on, and
Yeah.
there was like no communication. It was just very unorganized.
Wow.
So
I
the
wonder
rant
if
is
I wonder if it's because Epic has just like a bad rep in the first place.
It
I don't
might
know
be.
what it is about the Epic. Like Epic's a beautiful ship and everything like that, but Epic's always just had some sort of weird. It's never been highly reviewed, even when it was new. It's never. Yeah, it's just a weird ship.
Yeah, it was. I mean, even just the layout of it was very,
Really?
very unique. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna ask here in a minute about the rooms. We can get to that in a few minutes, though.
Yes, very unique.
Yeah, that's.
You want me to just go into it, or do you
Yeah.
have something else?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we had an interior room. So you would walk into the room. On the left side was the toilet with a sliding glass door, just the toilet. On the right side was the shower, just the shower.
It's that weird S shape, isn't it?
So the balcony cabins were. Ours was like a basic square.
Oh, okay.
So like you walk in and you're looking at the bed. Like so when you're laying in the bed, you're looking at the door. So the left side is the toilet, the right side is the shower, and it's like a wood floor. And there's a curtain that can close and kind of make it like a bathroom, but it's really not a bathroom. Then where the curtain is, from the curtain to the other side of the room, it's all carpeted. And on the left side, you have your closet. Well, I mean, it was a pretty big closet, but it was very, very different than what like you would see on any other ships. So you have your closet, and on the right side, you have like your vanity, like where you can sit down and like do makeup or like a little desk. But the sink was also there. So the bathroom was like split up into 3 different like separate areas.
What?
Which again, it didn't like take away from the room. It just was very unique.
Yeah.
And I think the reason they did that was to like have more space in the cabin, but that's not the case. If anything, it was less room.
Yeah. Epic is the only, for anybody that's listening to this, Epic is the only ship that is like this too.
Yeah.
And there's a reason she's the only ship that's like this.
Because it's awful. Again, it was fine. Like, that wasn't like a complaint of mine. Like, oh, this room sucks. It's just very unique. Like, and I knew that going into it.
Yeah.
Like when I first saw it, I'm like,
yeah. And that's something to keep in mind. Like when you're going on Epic, like I even hearing all this, I still want to try Epic. I probably wouldn't do a 7-day cruise on it. Like if they put her on 3 and 4 night cruises, I'd probably book it.
You'd be a perfect 3 and 4 night cruise.
Yeah, I think with like some of like the random like little tiny like missteps and things like that would make her a little bit better suited for that too.
Right.
Not that you should really even experience AC issues in your cabin for a 3 and 4 night cruise, but it's a little bit more bearable if it's a 3-night cruise. The little things like that, the weirdness of the cabin and how like impractical it can be, things like that. But,
yeah, I mean the only like nice thing about it was like if I had to go to the bathroom and Rachel wanted to shower, like we could do it at the same time. Like I guess you could do it at the same time in like a regular bathroom, but it's kind of weird, Like I don't want to be like taking a number 2 and Rachel's like in the shower right next to me.
Gas her out.
Right. I mean, not to be like gross, but like I would, but so that was like the nice thing about it. And they did have the curtains. So like so it's not like you're in the shower and like anyone like in the room could see you. Like you can close that curtain off.
Right.
And have like a little like private area. But there's a reason no other ship has it like that. I promise there's a reason.
I feel like there's also a reason that there's no second Epic class ship either.
So, and this is what I was thinking all cruise. If they won't, but if they ever built a second one, like now, if they just did the rooms like normal cabins, like if they had them like on the getaway and stuff, and tweaked a couple things here and there, like make it a little bit easier to get around like on the top deck to like certain areas, it would be a great ship. I mean, it's a great ship now, but like if they just fixed those things and made a second like Epic class ship, it would go a long way for sure. Yeah.
That's one thing I've noticed. Is it seems like, that's the case from what a lot of people say. And I think it came down to a shipyard issue. I think they started beefing with NCL or STX, something happened with this shipyard and they just were like, screw it. We're just not going to build a second one. Sorry.
Right.
But then we got the breakaway and the getaway. So I guess that worked out in our favor because those are much better ships.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The overall size is about 155 thousand tons, but like overall size, how was that?
It feels like it. It is a big ship. I mean,
Really?
we were in certain areas, like in the dining room or up on the pool deck, and it feels big. Like it's a big ship. When we were in Canaveral and Wonder was leaving, I mean, it was like slightly taller than us, like just height wise, but it felt like obviously it doesn't because Wonder's huge, but like it felt like we were comparable in size to like that ship, and even like the Seashore as it was coming out.
Really?
Like we were like pretty much eye level with everyone. Like it felt like we were a big ship, and even in the different ports or being in certain areas of the ship, like it felt like it was a big ship, and it is. It is a fairly large ship.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the time, did she ever hold the record, or was it the Oasis came out just before it?
Yeah, Oasis came out in November of 2009, and I don't think Epic came out until July of 2010.
Okay. Yeah, I knew when they ordered Epic.
Dream came out around the same time Oasis did.
Right, yeah, those three, it was like the big 3 companies had these big, giant projects that all of them were doing. Carnival Dream was a little less ambitious and huge like the others, but you had the Oasis class, Project Genesis was coming to life. Then you had the Norwegian Epic, which I think when it was ordered, it was supposed to be the world's largest, but Project Genesis kind of quickly came in and said, just kidding.
Right, and they basically went from the Norwegian Pearl to the Norwegian Epic.
Yeah.
Like it was a huge jump back in the day.
It's like the Vista class to the Mardi Gras, honestly.
Right. Oh, and speaking of that, the size difference between the Magic and the Celebration is very noticeable.
Oh,
Like I knew it was bigger, but like I didn't think it was that much bigger.
Yeah.
But seeing them, because it was Magic and then Celebration right behind it, wow.
Yeah.
There is a huge difference in size.
Being on board too is a crazy feeling too. Like,
Oh yeah.
there's so much room on the XL class from Carnival. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the size, I mean, it was even with Getaway, because Magic and Celebration pulled in and then Getaway backed in behind Celebration.
Yeah.
Getaway looks small. And Getaway's not small. Getaway's a big ship. But being behind the Celebration, I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's that XL class from Carnival is pretty impressive. I mean, 180,000 tons. Other than like the World Europa class from MSC, that's pretty much the second biggest class a ship. Like they're big.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, they still don't come close to the Oasis class, but it's pretty impressive.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. And then here's the Icon class just coming in like, oh yeah, by the way, we're just gonna sneak by, be a little bit bigger too.
Yeah, no big deal.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm excited for that. I cannot wait to do that podcast from that ship. And
yes, I hope it works.
2 weeks,
That'd be very cool.
In 2 weeks, I was thinking. Now that we're just gonna get off topic here for like the last like maybe 10 minutes of this, but that big overlook area, how they have those big like seats that are like elevated up in the like up a little bit. Have you seen those?
Where?
In the
like on the pool deck?
On the Aquadome.
Oh yeah, yeah, like the little pods, right? They're like
the little pods that are like elevated
yeah.
up. I'm going to do my best to get one of those, so I have a good background.
That would be sick.
If I can, I will. I'm gonna try it. I don't know how well I'm gonna be able to accomplish that, but and we're gonna
go in there and like start screaming, and then people will just leave.
I've got a podcast to do.
Move.
Move. That's gonna be us with like the 5 of us on the Liberty in March.
Oh my, that's.
By the way, for those, so the other Canaveral ship spotters, there's going to be a total of 5 of us on this cruise, plus Alex. We're gonna try to do a podcast on board Liberty of the Seas, like as a group, since all of us will be. Yeah, did you not know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, we're gonna do one on the Liberty. We're gonna we're not gonna stream it, but we're gonna like film it, basically.
Cool. I like that.
But yeah, we're gonna be doing that on Liberty of the Seas. It's like a giant group. It's gonna be fun.
Nice.
But anyways, back on topic. We're kind of coming up on time here. So over the last like 10 minutes, I guess, what were your on a scale from 1 to 10? What would you rate the Epic?
So if it wasn't for the issues I laid out in my little rant, I would give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
I mean, because it was great. I mean, the ports we went to were great. The ship was great. There was, like we said earlier, I didn't really walk around and be like, oh my God, like this needs to be redone. Like the ship is old. Like it felt new. It felt like it was kept up very well. But with the issues that we had, I'm going to say I'll do 7 out of 10. I mean, those issues, I mean, it is what it is, but
yeah,
I don't want it to ruin like a cruise that I've been looking forward to for 14 years,
Right, exactly. And that's kind of what you have to like take into perspective too, is like you are on a cruise, like good or bad, like you're on a very good big vacation, and like the amount of money that you're spending, sometimes it's just like, trivial things, like you mentioned, trivial things like the card networking, random things like that. Like you got to enjoy your time. You're on a cruise, like you're on vacation, just enjoy it. No matter what's,
and we did, we really did.
Yeah, no matter like what issues you're having, just like enjoy the cruise.
Yeah, so I mean, if you or anyone are sailing on Epic soon, I doubt you're gonna have the same experience we had with like customer service and stuff, but look forward to it. I mean, the ship, it was great.
It's a beautiful ship.
It really was.
Even after all of this, like myself, I would love to go on it for a 3 and 4 night cruise, but it'd probably be a while before I did a 7 night on it. But just because there's so many other options right now for 7s that I'd like to do, but Epic is still on my list. Like even with all of this in mind, I would still sail on Norwegian Epic if I was given the opportunity to.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, Rachel might disagree with me because the way I was talking earlier today, because I was just so frustrated. Like, I
Yeah,
just want
that's
getting off today
understandable.
was like a nightmare too, but we'll
Really.
just leave that for a different day. But now that I've had time to get home, and we went to Disney too, so I had time to
Yeah.
relax there, and we rode Guardians of the Galaxy, so that took my mind off of things. And then,
Yeah.
I've been home for a few hours now and been able to decompress. So now looking
Yeah.
back on it, yeah, we had our issues that really bothered me at the time, and maybe I'm going to take a break from NCL for right now. But I did have fun. We
Yeah.
really did enjoy ourselves. The ports were great. The ship was great. We did the behind the scenes tour. We were invited by the captain because of our
Yes.
friends. So thank
How
you,
how was
Robbie.
that? Yeah,
It was
I want to
great.
hear about that. By the way, I
It
think
was
the
great.
podcast wants
That's
to hear
how we'll
about
end
that.
it. It was great. We saw the laundry room. We saw the kitchen. We got free cookies, which is like amazing.
Bingo. That's
So
worth the price of admission right there.
exactly. So they showed us like the different things. They showed us like they took us into the freezer and they took us into like the refrigerator room and they were telling us like how many pounds of this, how many pounds of that they bring on board. So I mean it was really cool. And then we went to the engine control room and they were showing us all the different things, like the different alarms that they deal with every day. And I say alarms, it's more of just like notifications, like
Yeah.
to check this and whatever.
Bells, whistles, that type of thing.
Right. And I'm sure you knew this. I, for some reason, did not know this. Epic does not have Azzy pods. She is a propeller,
Really?
like a draft, whatever you call
Twin
it, like
screws?
a twin screws. Yep. She's got bow thrusters and aft thrusters to spin her. She does not have Azzy pods. So I
What?
learned that.
Wait, she's got
I-
aft thrusters?
Yes, she does. She's got four bow thrusters, and she's got two aft thrusters, but I think they said the aft ones are a little bit bigger because there's only two of them, but that's how they're able to spin the ship without tugs.
Wow, I've never heard of aft thrusters.
Yes, so she's got them. I saw pictures of them. I don't know if I took a picture of it because we weren't like able to take pictures in certain areas, but they had pictures of them, two huge aft thrusters, and then the twin screws on the sides. So they showed us that, and they were telling us they use up more fuel as they're hopping around the islands because they have to do different maneuvers and stuff versus like just going straight across the Atlantic. They don't. They use a lot because it's nonstop for a few days.
Right.
But they said it's harder with the ship making all these different turns and coming out of ports and going around islands and stuff. So we saw that. Then we saw some of the theater. I'm not really interested in that stuff, but they showed us like the dressing rooms and stuff. I mean, it was like kind of cool to see how that kind of stuff works. And then we went to the bridge, and the bridge was awesome. They showed us the center console area, like where they do like the captain sits and stuff. Then they brought us over to the like emergence, what they call it, like the incident command center, like where they like all the, if there's like a problem, it's like a separate area on the bridge. Then they brought us to like the bridge wings and showed us like where the horn was and the where they can control the thrusters and stuff like that. So it was really cool. It was an awesome tour. So Robbie, thank you so much, Captain. Sorry, I forgot your name. I know you told us it was going to be sunny in Puerto Rico and it still rained, but we do appreciate the invite. It was a lot of fun.
Did he let you hit the horn?
No, he did not let me hit the horn.
Ah, bummer.
When I do my pilot, I forgot to ask the last time, but when I go on the pilot boat again and I'm on the ship, I'm going to ask if I can honk the horn as we're setting sail.
That's sick. That'd be.
And I forgot to ask on a sentence. I was just so like infatuated like
in
what
the
we
moment.
were doing.
Yeah.
I'm like walking off, like I'm climbing down the rope ladder, and I go, no, God.
That's what's going through your head as you're climbing down the ladder. Is, man, I should have hit the horn. Not all
the
right.
fact that I
Watch
could
my
slip and
step.
get killed getting sucked under the cruise ship. No, I forgot to honk the horn.
Darn it. That's funny.
So, so overall,
speaking,
to end the podcast, the Epic was great for the most part.
That's awesome. Glad to hear you had a good time. I'm looking forward to all the videos and stuff like that.
Yes, they're coming soon.
Yes. Speaking of pilots, we're probably going to be doing our next episode either this week or next. We're still trying to decide because I think we might be getting an actual harbor pilot on the podcast with us. So if
possibly,
we're working on that. But within the next 2 weeks, we're either going to be doing a podcast on Project Discovery from Royal Caribbean, their new project to follow up Icon, and then the Harbor Pilots. And then the week after that, I will be on Icon of the Seas, and I'll be doing the podcast live from Icon of the Seas. So I hope you guys are very excited for that. And hope you guys enjoyed tonight's podcast as well. And with that, any closing statements from you?
I wish I was on a cruise right now, but I'm
I
not.
feel
I gotta
that.
go back to work tomorrow.
2 more weeks, baby.
Yeah,
All right.
just get ready. Cruising is great.
Oh, yeah,
And
for
You're
sure.
gonna have. I mean, I went on Epic, and I was so excited for that, so I can't even imagine what it's like getting ready to do on Icon. So
Yeah, oh, I
enjoy.
can't even put into words how excited I am for that one. Anyways, thank you guys all for listening and watching to this point. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you for our next podcast here in a few days.
Bye.